I have tried to make this specific review twice already, but I think I'm finally ready and know what I want to say. A lot of my friends really like Justice League Doom, and I'm not saying that I'm not a fan, but they tend to ignore a lot of the huge problems that this film has. Now, I will start out by saying that the premise of this film is actually very entertaining. Okay, so because Batman has a plan for everything, he's constantly prepared, he has plans to take down each member of the Justice League just in case they ever go rogue. These plans are then stolen and used to take down the Justice League, and it's Batman's fault. You'd think that this would create a compelling story of Batman's guilt and pride as the Justice League develops suspicion of Batman's loyalty, but nope. Instead, he just gets a slap on the wrist at the end of the movie and leaves the JLA on his own terms. That's a huge wasted opportunity that would be really easy to allude to. For example, early in the film, the Royal Flush Gang is in the middle of a robbery, with Batman being the first on site. Other members of the League tell Bruce to wait for backup, but instead he just ignores them and heads in anyways.
Hold your position. Help is on the way.
This choice could easily have consequences that create depth and meaning in the story. Maybe because of Batman's rashness, a Royal Flush Gang member escapes, which would create a little bit of doubt in the League to see if Bruce should even be a member. But if they did that, I wouldn't be talking about it. Another thing that I dislike about this movie is that all of the heroes act like idiots. Wonder Woman keeps hurting civilians in a fight even though several credible sources are telling her that she's hallucinating, and she's not even sprayed with any fear gas to make her more susceptible to that leap in logic. Batman 100% sees Mirror Master in the Batmobile and doesn't do anything about it. Batman's eyes don't just play tricks on him, and it's shown that he 100% sees him. It literally cuts to him looking behind him. Superman doesn't use his X-ray vision in a really suspicious situation, which just leads to Metallo getting the best of him in a surprise attack. Basically, the Justice League just looked like a bunch of first-level intellects. However, credit where credit is due, I loved the villain choices. Instead of using people like Joker, Sinestro, and Lex Luthor, they used people like Bane, Starfire, and Metallo. That is a great idea, just with very poor execution. We get little to no information on who these characters are, and if this is your first time being introduced to these characters, you'd be very lost. Honestly, I'm surprised we even took a break to learn the backstory of Vandal Savage, but to be fair, that's one that's 100% necessary, and the movie would just be slacking without it. Which brings me to the final thing I did not like about this movie, the pacing. The movie actually starts off okay, but it's just a jumbled mess later on. In 1 minute, it could go from basically nothing happening to 4 or 5 fights happening at the same time. Which, I know, it's kind of the point. The Legion of Doom wanted to storm the entire Justice League all at once to get a surprise attack in, but it just came off in the movie as lazy and sloppy. The biggest crime of this is that they actually chopped up and cut up a scene literally stolen from the movie Speed. In this case, if the Flash stops moving, he explodes, and in about 30 seconds, he'll explode anyways. And they cut away from that. No. Throw a timer up on the screen, ride the tension, and bring some flavor to this scene. Don't chop it up into little bits and show it in between other fights. Overall, Justice League Doom. I give this movie a 4 out of 10. It's a fine film as long as you don't think about it too much.
Maybe I could move the Earth out of the way.
If we had a week, I couldn't list all the reasons that won't work.